Hello everybody, and it's really nice that I'm connecting with such a lovely audience. I thank the organizing committee of this conference, and I'm Dr. Parul Agarwal, Associate Professor, Department of CSP, Jamia Hamdard, New Delhi, India. So, my topic for today is integrating blockchain and AI for smart education. See, we all understand that when we talk about this word smart, smart is, even in English context, when we say this word, what it actually means is one who is intelligent, who can adapt to the environment, and obviously who can make the work easier, right? So that is why today we are not talking about education or healthcare, uh, or agriculture. Rather, we are talking about smart technologies for all these domains of life, right? Okay. So we first need to understand what is blockchain. So this is one of my favorite examples, and see, blockchain, as the name suggests, is a chain of blocks, right? And what are each of these blocks standing for? Each of these blocks are standing for your records or your transactions that take place. Okay. So we have these four players who are Phil, Ted, Sam, and Jack. And Phil, Ted, and Sam have to transfer, say for example, 2-bit currencies to Jack, two each to Jack. Now the first transaction is being made by Phil, wherein he transfers 2-bit coins to Jack. So how many bitcoins would Jack be having? In case he was earlier having 5, he would be having 7. Phil, Sam, and Ted were each of them, they were having 3. Now since 2 bitcoins have been transferred, therefore Phil will now have 1, right? And Sam and Ted, since no transaction has taken place, therefore both of them will stay at a value of 3. Now, you can see on the leftmost side, the first cube is actually denoting your first record that has been created for this transaction. Now, as the players participate and they perform their own transactions, a new record would be created for each of the players in that entire transaction. And the beauty of blockchain is that each one of these players would be having a copy of this entire blockchain. That means whether the transaction was done by me, the transaction was done by B or by C, but in a group, right? So all the participants in that group will be having a copy of that digital ledger. So when I talk about this blockchain, basically what I can say is, since I'm saying it's a block of record, it's a chain of records, then what we can also view it as, since your first record is pointing to the second is pointing to the third, therefore I think we can actually connect it to a linked list. So conceptually, how does your linked list work? Your linked list, the first record contains the address of the second contains the address of the third, and so on, right? So this is how your blockchain would be created. Now, when Ted is transferring 2 bitcoins to Jack, uh, you are seeing, okay, sorry, the second record is corresponding to Sam. So Sam is now transferring 2 bitcoins to Jack. Therefore, Jack will now have a value which is 9. Phil is at 1. Sam will now be at 1 and Ted will remain at 3. So the second record has been created for this second transaction that took place. And it is linked to the first record which had corresponded to Phil. Okay. Now, same thing happens wherein Ted now transfers 2 bitcoins to Jack. So Jack will have a value which is 11. Phil will have a value which is 1. Sam will have a value which is 1. And then Ted will also have a value which is 1. Okay. So what is happening basically when we are talking about this blockchain is, so you can see these blocks have been created, they are joined together, and there is a chain of blocks, or there is a chain of records. Okay. Okay. Now, why the hacker will not be able to alter the data in the blockchain? For the simple reason, because every user in that entire transaction, that is Phil, Ted, Sam and Jack, they were friends, and as a group they were making this transaction. Therefore, each of these players is having a copy of this digital ledger. So you can see over there at the top, you have that all the four are having a copy of this digital ledger. Now, how your alteration to the data will not occur? For the simple reason, because since each of the users is having a copy of the ledger, therefore if there is a third party who is trying to hack, right, this transaction, or is trying to change something in the digital ledger, then there would be a notification which would be sent to all the participants of this blockchain, right? So Phil, Ted, Sam and Jack, all of them would receive a message that there is an updation, there is somebody who is trying to update the records. In case they deny their the transaction by the hacker will not be allowed at any cost. Another thing, forget about the third parties. Say for example, even if any one of these try to alter any of the transactions, right, or any of the records, even then each one of them would get a message where they can deny the interview, right? So what is happening is your data cannot be altered since each user is having a copy of the ledger. And second most important thing is that data within the blocks are actually encrypted by complex algorithms. Now when Phil transfers to Jack, what happens is that, see, blockchain actually works upon what you call as your uh, technology, which you call as your public key cryptography, right? Now, when we say this working on your public key cryptography, therefore we all understand that public key cryptography has two keys. One is your public key and another is your private key. So public key, we can assume something like your email address, and private key is like a password. Therefore, when I say that this transaction is taking place when person A is transferring to person B, then person A is using the public key, and so for the encryption your public key is used, but for your decryption your private key of the receiver is used. Now since the private key of the receiver is known only to the receiver, so the password is known only to person B, the private key of B, which is the password of B, is known only to B. Therefore, decryption will occur only when B does it. Right? Okay. Now, how do we use this blockchain technology in education? See, students are all too familiar with the high fees and the slow speeds which are involved in requesting the transcripts for college or job applications, right? Now, not only your blockchain will store your sensitive information in a tamper-resistant manner, but it will also send your transcript, it will save time and it will save money. Okay? So that is why we always, the upcoming technologies are adopting blockchain for this simple reason. Okay. And your IBM and your Sony Global Education are the global players in which what they are doing is they are using your blockchain technology and they're providing a platform for saving as well as sharing the students' records. Right? Now, how do they do this is, Saving transcripts to the blockchain ensures that even if there is a server failure or there is a natural disaster, blockchain will keep your data intact. Now that is what is the beauty of blockchain. Okay. Okay. Fraudulent degrees is another major concern when you talk about your education sector, right? Now, fraudulent degrees are much too easy to forge with skilled forgers developing new techniques constantly to make sure that the forged degrees are undetectable, right? Now, when you're talking about your you're talking about your degrees being forged. Now, it can happen at both the levels. There could be some institutes or colleges which are offering you your fraud degrees and students are unaware of it. At the same time, there could be students who are trying to tamper with the data of the degrees in case they have less marks or they require a particular grade for applying somewhere. So, all this fraud can creep into the education. That is what is happening at various places, right? Now we all understand, since we have now understood blockchain, so we can understand that blockchain will issue digital assets which will verify your credentials for your degrees and your certifications. Okay? Your learning machine and your MIT Media Lab, they have adopted what you call as a Blocksearch, which provides an open infrastructure for creating, issuing, viewing, and verifying your blockchain-based certificates. Okay. Another thing. See, we talk about storage, and whenever, as on today, when we talk about storage, we talk about the online cloud storage tools which are available, right? For example, you talk about the Amazon, right? So these are the major players in cloud storage. But what is happening is that lot when you exceed a certain limit, the fees that you have to pay is extremely high, right? Now, this is what I'm talking about, the personal data that you're trying to store. Now, what if your data related to education is to be stored? So, colleges and universities are providing large and online cloud storage to students and faculty to promote your collaboration. Okay? Now, as I said, your Amazon Web Services is one of the most common services that is being used. In addition, you also have your Dropbox and many others. But what happens is that the cost that your colleges and universities pay for storing all the data of the students and all the data that is generated on a regular basis in a university or a college is extremely large. As a result, colleges and universities have to pay large amount of money as for lending out that service to the Amazon Web Services, to the service providers, to the online cloud service providers. Now, from where do the colleges and the universities survive them? Then obviously what happens is that this cost comes as a burden in the form of high tuition fees for the students. Now, what blockchain can do is, blockchain-based storage can be very useful as it can bring the assets, right? The cost that is associated with this much lower. Okay. Okay. So what we have is, we have your major players again, like your CR5 coin, right? What they do is, they are actually called the Airbnb of the file storage for the simple reason because as compared to your traditional cloud storage platforms, these storage platforms are providing much lower costs. And how do they manage? What they do is they lease out unused hard disk space in computers around the world and make the payments, right, in form of cryptocurrencies. Okay? So what happens as a result? The companies are benefiting because they have the cryptocurrencies as rewards, and at the same time, these people, whatever is going unused, right, that is being properly utilized. And as on today, we always talk about optimal usage of resources. Okay. Now, another thing. The whole process of online teaching and learning is enhanced by using your technology like a blockchain. See, when we were talking about the blockchain, I said that all the people who are participating, there is a record for each one of them. Now, how do you identify? See, every student can be given an ID, and every record in your blockchain can be given a unique number. As a result, you can identify in each of those records, you can store metadata about students, right? You can store, say for example, you talk about smart contracts. Okay, smart contracts are something like the normal contracts that we sign with each other, right? So there are terms and regulations which are defined, predefined. As a result, what can happen is there the university or the teacher can say, okay, fine, these are the things that you're supposed to do, these are your assignments. Now when the student does it, the student submits it. It can be stored in the form of a record. So you have your metadata being stored in the blockchain, and using that metadata, your evaluation can be done, and students can be awarded on the basis of their performance and evaluation, again in the form of cryptocurrencies, right? So this is one of the biggest advantage that your blockchain is providing in the field of education, smart education. Fair evaluation. See, what happens in collaborative work is at times every person has their own tempo of working, right? There might be some lazy students, there might be some active students. Now, when this is collaborative work, the hardworking students often suffer for the simple reason because they are the people who work for the project success and the others just benefit. Now, blockchain will provide a transparency. Each of the students performs their work. The blockchain, the record is created for each of these students. It is stored, and as a result, what happens is that the teacher is able to identify what portion of the project was done by which student, because that metadata in that record will store all these things. Okay. Similarly, teaching and research outcome enhanced. Now, when I say that your students can be awarded on a similar manner, your feedback forms can be used, all this data can be stored in the form of blockchain, and the teachers can also be awarded using your smart contracts. They can be awarded using cryptocurrencies, bitcoins, etc. Okay. Now, having said this, we have said all good things about blockchain, but I think uh, everything has a challenge associated with it. The most common challenges that are associated with the blockchain are that it is susceptible to malicious attacks. Public key is public, so it can be used for extracting at least the user's basic data, right? Storage and protection of private keys is also an issue. Lack of clarity, poor usability, lack of technical expertise. See, blockchain is not something that you just learn and adopt and do it, right? It involves lot of expertise, it involves lot of skills. And what your blockchain can do is it can revolutionize the way the teaching learning process will occur in future, but it requires a good technical expertise. And last but not the least, adoption and implementation has associated high costs. Okay? And one more thing is adopting blockchain technology, right? Making people understand its usage, its advantages, right? Again requires a lot of training. Fine. How AI can be used in education? See, we all understand artificial intelligence, that means machine intelligence. The machine is able to do things what we generally do. So what we are talking about is we can talk about the robots, we can talk about the machines performing the same tasks or simulating the same task that a teacher would do, right? Though we also understand that the role of a teacher is irreplaceable, but it can also enhance the teaching learning process. It can make the workload lighter for a teacher, right? It can drive efficiency, personalization, it can streamline the admin tasks, right? And the vision for AI in education would be where you have your students and teachers and AI working in tandem with each other. So what are the major applications? Major applications are differentiated and individualized learning, wherein several companies like your Content Technologies and Carnegie Learning, they are developing intelligent instruction design and digital platforms which are using AI to provide learning, testing and feedback to students. A machine shall be able to read the expression that passes on a student's face, which indicates whether they are struggling to grasp a subject, and will modify a lesson to respond according to the student's understanding of the subject. Idea of customizing curriculum for every student's needs, though is not viable today, but it can be made possible if you use AI. Universal access. Now, obviously, people sitting wherever they are sitting, whether they are sitting at remote locations, they can use AI. Whatever languages they are using, they can use AI, right? Okay. Automate admin tasks. So, AI can automate the task of evaluating an assignment, grading a student, admission process, document verifications, etc. Tutoring and support outside the classroom. Now, AI can support the kids at home with homework, it can help them with test preparations, and it can also offer a range of learning styles. Now, there are new concepts which are coming up. You have your quizzes, right? Your online quizzes which are happening, but they are happening in a very interactive and a very amusing way, right? So, AI can alter the way the students are interacting with the teachers, right? Okay. So what we understand with this entire presentation is that blockchain is a decentralized digital ledger. It is secure, it is reliable, it is immutable, and both blockchain and AI, they have the potential to revolutionize the smart education sector. They can revolutionize the entire teaching learning process. But then the challenges have to be kept in mind. We have to work over these challenges. We have to overcome them. And it is then that new innovative models and ideas will pave the way for a better future in the education sector. So thank you so much once again. I thank all the lovely audience, the organizers of this event, and this is my email ID. You can contact me over here. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Stay safe.